What if I told you that NASA might be hiding proof that we're not alone in the universe? Sounds like a wild conspiracy, right? But what if there were real discoveries, evidence that could change everything, only to be dismissed, buried, or conveniently forgotten? Over the decades, NASA's missions have uncovered strange anomalies, unexplained signals from space, bizarre structures on distant planets, and even potential signs of life on Mars. Yet every time we get close to an answer, the data is delayed, downplayed, or outright ignored. Is NASA just being cautious, or is there something bigger at play? Could they be keeping the greatest discovery in human history a secret? In today's video, we're diving deep into the biggest cover-up allegations, the suppressed discoveries, and the truth behind NASA's silence. Buckle up, because by the end of this video, you might start questioning everything. For decades, NASA has been at the forefront of space exploration, searching for answers to one of humanity's biggest questions. Are we alone in the universe? Since its formation in 1958, NASA has launched countless missions to explore distant planets, analyze cosmic phenomena, and hunt for the slightest hint of extraterrestrial life. In 1976, NASA's Viking landers became the first spacecraft to conduct life detection experiments on Mars. One test, known as the Labeled Release (LR) experiment, gave results that shocked even the scientists behind it. The experiment showed signs of microbial metabolism, potential proof of life. But instead of celebrating, NASA dismissed the findings, claiming they could be explained by chemical reactions in the Martian soil. Even decades later, some researchers argue that Viking may have actually detected Martian life, but NASA refused to accept it. Then, in 1996, a Martian meteorite known as ALH-84001 made headlines. Discovered in Antarctica, this rock contained microscopic structures that looked strikingly similar to fossilized bacteria. The discovery was so significant that even President Bill Clinton addressed it in a public statement. But just as the excitement grew, NASA's stance shifted. Officials suddenly cast doubt on the evidence, suggesting alternative, non-biological explanations. These two discoveries alone could have rewritten our understanding of life beyond Earth. Yet NASA seemed more interested in shutting down the conversation than pursuing the possibilities. Was it scientific caution or something more? When it comes to the search for extraterrestrial life, NASA has made some truly bizarre decisions, ones that have led many to believe they may be hiding something. Let's take a closer look at some of the biggest cases that raise suspicion. In 1976, NASA's Viking landers touched down on Mars and conducted one of the first experiments designed to detect life on another planet. The Labeled Release (LR) experiment, created by scientist Dr. Gilbert Levin, worked by mixing a nutrient solution with Martian soil. If the soil contained microorganisms, they would consume the nutrients and release gases, just like microbes do on Earth. The results? A strong positive response. The test indicated microbial metabolism, suggesting that life might exist on Mars. But instead of celebrating a groundbreaking discovery, NASA dismissed the findings, arguing that the results were likely caused by non-biological chemical reactions. Dr. Levin has spent decades insisting that his experiment found Martian life, but NASA refuses to acknowledge it. Why? Could it be that admitting to extraterrestrial life would open a Pandora's box of questions that they weren't prepared to answer? 2 decades after the Viking landers, another shocking discovery made headlines. In 1996, scientists announced that they had found a meteorite from Mars, ALH-84001, which contained structures resembling fossilized bacteria. The discovery was so important that President Bill Clinton publicly addressed it, calling it a potential breakthrough in the search for life beyond Earth. But soon after, NASA began to walk back the claims. Alternative explanations surfaced. Some scientists suggested that the structures could have formed through natural chemical processes. Was NASA simply being cautious, Or were they pressured to downplay the discovery? If they had confirmed the existence of past life on Mars, it could have had massive implications, politically, religiously, and scientifically. Some believe NASA's reluctance to confirm extraterrestrial life is a deliberate effort to control the narrative. NASA's delay in revealing key data methane is a big deal when searching for life. On Earth, most methane is produced by living organisms, so when NASA's Curiosity rover detected methane spikes on Mars in 2015, scientists were thrilled. This could mean that microbes, possibly even active life, exist beneath Mars's surface. But there was one problem. NASA delayed revealing this data for months. By the time they did release it, their explanation seemed underwhelming. They suggested that the methane might have been caused by geological activity rather than life. Many found this suspicious. Why the delay? And why was NASA so quick to dismiss the possibility of life? Some believe that NASA strategically times its announcements, controlling when and how information is revealed to prevent public overreaction, or to prevent deeper questions from being asked. For years, conspiracy theorists and even some former NASA employees have claimed that NASA edits or withholds certain images and data before making them public. Some researchers claim that NASA alters images of the Moon and Mars to remove anomalies, objects that look like artificial structures or signs of past civilizations. Former NASA consultant Ken Johnston alleges that NASA destroyed high-resolution Apollo moon images that showed evidence of alien structures. NASA's public raw image archives often have images with glitches or missing data, leading some to speculate that important discoveries are being erased. While NASA insists that any anomalies are just artifacts of digital processing or natural formations, skeptics aren't convinced. If NASA is willing to withhold or modify images, what else might they be keeping from us? These incidents paint a troubling picture. Every time there's a major discovery suggesting extraterrestrial life, NASA either downplays it, delays it, or dismisses it altogether. But why? That's what we'll explore in the next section. If NASA really has evidence of extraterrestrial life, why would they hide it? What possible reason could they have for keeping humanity in the dark? Well, there are several theories, some more shocking than others. Imagine waking up to the news that NASA has confirmed intelligent alien life. How would people react? Some might embrace it with excitement, but history suggests that mass panic is also a real possibility. When Orson Welles' War of the Worlds radio broadcast aired in 1938, many listeners thought it was real and panicked, believing Earth was under attack. Now imagine a global-scale version of that reaction. Governments might fear that a sudden revelation of alien life could lead to social unrest, economic instability, or even religious chaos. Would it be safer to slowly introduce the idea over time rather than reveal it all at once? Some believe this is exactly what NASA is doing. The discovery of extraterrestrial life wouldn't just be a scientific breakthrough, it could completely reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Many religious beliefs are centered around humans being unique, created in the image of God. If intelligent life exists elsewhere, it could challenge long-held theological perspectives. Religious institutions might struggle to reconcile their teachings with the existence of alien civilizations. Could NASA be holding back the truth to prevent a global spiritual crisis? Some think so. NASA is built on science, and in science, reputation matters. If they were to announce extraterrestrial life prematurely, only to later be proven wrong, it could damage their credibility. Many scientists argue that NASA is simply being cautious. They don't want to make an announcement unless they have absolute, undeniable proof. But others believe NASA's reluctance isn't just about caution, it's about control. By keeping tight control over space data, NASA ensures that they're the ultimate authority on the subject. This means they get to dictate the timeline and shape the public's perception of space discoveries. If extraterrestrial life exists, it might not just be microbes. We could be talking about advanced civilizations. If aliens have technology far beyond our own, that knowledge would be incredibly valuable and possibly dangerous. What if alien spacecraft have visited Earth? What if crashed UFOs have provided technology that world governments don't want the public to know about? There are plenty of theories suggesting that NASA, working alongside intelligence agencies, could be keeping alien technology under wraps for military and strategic purposes. If extraterrestrial technology exists, whoever controls it controls the future. Could one or all of these theories explain why NASA is so secretive about the search for alien life? Or is there another reason we're not seeing? Next, let's take a look at the counter-arguments. Why some believe NASA isn't covering up anything at all. While many believe that NASA is hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life, there's also a strong case to be made that these claims are based on misinterpretations, speculation, and a misunderstanding of how science works. Let's take a look at the other side of the debate. Misinterpretation of data. Many so-called cover-ups can actually be explained by science. Take the Viking landers' life detection experiment. While the results were intriguing, later research showed that certain chemical reactions in the Martian soil could have mimicked biological activity. Similarly, the ALH 84001 meteorite contained structures that resembled bacteria, but follow-up studies found non-biological ways those formations could have occurred. In other words, these weren't cases of suppression, they were cases of science, evolving as new information emerged. NASA is a scientific institution, and in science, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. If NASA were to prematurely announce the discovery of alien life, only to later find out they were wrong, it would damage their credibility. This is why NASA takes a cautious approach, verifying and re-verifying data before making bold claims. The delay in revealing Mars's methane spikes in 2015, for example, could have been to ensure that their findings were accurate before making any public statements. NASA's transparency efforts. Contrary to popular belief, NASA makes most of its data publicly available. Raw images from Mars rovers, space telescopes, and planetary probes can be accessed online by anyone. If there really was a major cover-up, wouldn't it be harder to keep all that information under wraps? NASA has also repeatedly denied allegations of censorship, stating that what some call hidden evidence is often just misinterpreted artifacts in images or the result of scientific miscommunication. So, is NASA really hiding proof of extraterrestrial life? Or is it simply being careful in its scientific approach? That's for you to decide. Next, let's wrap this up with our conclusion. So, is NASA hiding the truth about extraterrestrial life? Let's recap. Over the decades, there have been multiple incidents that raise suspicion. NASA's dismissal of the Viking landers' life detection experiment, the downplaying of the ALH 84001 meteorite, the delayed methane data from Mars, and ongoing allegations of image censorship and withheld discoveries. Every time something extraordinary is found, it seems to be met with skepticism, secrecy, or outright rejection. On the other hand, some argue that NASA is simply following the scientific method, that their cautious approach isn't a cover-up, but a necessary step in avoiding false conclusions. After all, science thrives on careful verification, not rushing to announce discoveries without absolute proof. But here's the real question. If NASA did find undeniable evidence of alien life, would they tell us? Or would the implications, panic, religious upheaval, national security risks, be too much for the world to handle? What do you think? Is NASA hiding the truth? Or are we just not ready for it yet? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more mind-blowing space mysteries.